Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. This is the second part of the 5th trial. We're investigating the status of the body and the tarp used to cover it.
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
Oh, yeah, true.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage?
Fake blood? Or... there's the duct tape, which had bloodstains on it. What is that? Huh? The blood was camouflage?
What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers,
Stuck the knife in him to create the blood. Ah!
they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim?
Oh, I was thinking the knife, but okay, sure.
You mean someone else's blood? Where would they get something like that?
I know! They could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office. That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
Yeah, but going from I suppose it's possible.
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
The chicken! Ah, the chicken! The chicken was sacrificed for the... okay. They got blood from right there in the garden, right? Which must mean...
I got it! Could it have been chicken blood?
What? Chicken blood?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after the murder, there were only 4.
So, you're saying someone killed a chicken? And then covered the body with its blood? Man, that's messed up.
But what about the knife?
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
Yeah, I call PETA.
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right?
How does the knife come into play?
But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand.
I never thought of this.
They covered it beforehand?
When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
I think so.
Was it?
Wait, no. The head was through the neck hole.
It was
but
back...
the arms weren't in the sleeves.
It was backwards? Oh my god. Why? What?
Then that settles it.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what?
Yeah, you and me both.
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off, but the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp.
So the time frame could still be between 10 and 9.
Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body, the coat they'd already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off, at 7:30.
You know, this is a real trend, and I can't believe I'm not, like, applying it. But, you know, there's this trend of making you think the murder happened at a certain X, but it actually happened at a certain Y, and you have to use the clues to uncover the truth.
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier.
But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off?
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult.
Huh?
They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body. They'd be done in no time.
Maybe, but still.
So why did no one take the coat off the body? When investigating? Why leave the coat on?
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on?
Oh no. I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later.
Oh boy.
Then he had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say?
Why are you trying to pinpoint it on me?
That's not.
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
There is quite a window. Yeah.
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate.
But the protagonist didn't do it because he has protagonist powers and he must live throughout the game. And the suspicion falls back on me again. But why? Why is Kyoko trying to entrap me? I don't understand. Maybe it's self-preservation? Disguised... What?! Truth bullets are being added in the middle of the trial. This case is designed to fuck with me.
Well then, it looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again, our suspects are him and Kyoko.
For serious, man? Which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds.
That's not how this works, Yasuhiro. Just shut up and go back to your crystal ball.
Oh!
See? Pretty good idea, right?
No, not that. I just remembered something super serious.
Please contribute.
Well, don't just stand there. Out with it.
You know that knife we found all black and burnt?
Ah yes, how does the knife come into play?
The one we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right? According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through, from front to back. So, what about it?
I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife somewhere before.
Wait, what does this truth bullet say? Disguised dead body. The murder took place before the sprinklers turned on. The suspect covered the body with a tarp to prevent it from getting wet. Later, when they removed the tarp, the suspect placed the white jacket on the body. This jacket has previously been treated with blood to make it look like the corpse had been wearing it. So if the coat was pre-treated with blood, how would the knife have gone through the body without extracting blood? Could this be a fake body? That would explain why it was rigged to blow up. So if this is a fake body, and Mukuro isn't really dead, but Monokuma said Mukuro is dead. I don't know, this doesn't make any sense at all.
That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered.
She's a damn synth, that's why. Listen, more important, now that we have the knife, what are we gonna do with it? Yeah, Kyoko was the one that suggested that. You fucker.
It's the knife we gave to Makoto?
She planned to frame Makoto from the very beginning. What a whore.
You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed earlier.
Yeah,
Then why did you hide that fact?
it's not that I hid it. It's just...
I couldn't be sure of what actually happened last night. I thought maybe I really did kill her. So, okay, like, you had this fever, this cold, that lasted a night. I'm aware of one-day flus. The timing of this seems a little convenient.
Suspicious! Very suspicious indeed. The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced.
Isn't it possible that the body was stabbed any time during the nighttime, and then in order to cover it up, the coat was covered in blood, and then like the place in the garden and whatnot? Considering everything up until now, I should be able to make it clear. I have to prove that I didn't murder anyone. I'm not the killer. See, here's the problem. We can't account for Makoto's actions anywhere from 10 to 7. Disguised dead body, exploded body, analysis fragments of dead body.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right?
Wait a minute.
No question. You took that knife of yours and killed her with it.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
Yeah, I know, right? Wait, there's only one yellow sentence in there.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one you gave to me.
It really is.
Well,
isn't
two.
it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that
Knife before, that seals it. Just because I had that automatic?
well, getting stabbed is what killed her.
No, that's wrong.
How would you know that the stab was the cause of death?
Wait, hold on. The stab wound isn't what killed Mukuro. That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard.
Lies! We never talked about what killed her.
What are you talking about?
No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp, and then put the bloody coat on it, right? In other words, the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead.
Okay, fine. So what?
So, when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her.
Maybe you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her and once to cover it up.
What? The victim was stabbed twice in the same spot? No, there's no way that's possible. The exact condition of the body was written down for everyone to see. Dead before the blast. The victim had been stabbed a single time with a knife which went completely through the body. They had also been struck in the head with an object about this thick as a metal pipe. The body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old.
I got it! The Monokuma file clearly states that there was only one stab wound.
Oh yeah, it sure did. Totally forgot about that.
Why are you even here?
Then the knife.
Was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her. Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing. The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime.
And let's be honest, is Makoto intelligent enough to do that?
So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward. They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise.
Oh, hey, I have a question. It kind of goes back to the beginning, but
Hey man, the beginning is as important as the end.
what's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like
Was
that?
it intended to kill someone? Because Toko lived. And... Toko was right next to the explosion and she lived. So it probably wasn't intended to kill someone else, but it was intended to obscure information. Or maybe obscure the identity of the dead body. Because why would you rig a mask with a bomb unless you were trying to hide your identity? Why would you leave the mask on?
If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between your ears to use, you'd know the answer.
Well, if you're so smart, just tell me.
I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quantum particle caused an atomic level spontaneous combustion.
Again, not really contributing anything meaningful. Please leave.
I might be dumb, but even I'm not dumb enough to believe that.
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell her or we won't make any headway on this.
There's only one explanation I can think of for the explosion.
I got it! After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the body, right? That fragment reveals the cause of the explosion.
Huh? You know, I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before.
That's only natural, because of course, we saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma. It's part of a bomb.
Oh, there it is.
Oh! Then the explosion was because of the Monokuma bomb.
Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we'd suspect Makoto. And the only one who would benefit from that is the only other possible suspect. You, Kyoko.
Hold on a second, Byakuya.
What's the problem?
Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim.
That's true. It's definitely bugging me. What really killed her?
What about the titanium arrows and the duct tape with the blood on it? Where did that come from?
Fine. I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case regardless.
You can't just cement your conclusion this early. We need to determine what ultimately killed the victim. I need to concentrate. Oh, what?
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? And then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
That's all true. What do I hit?
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has...
There we go.
No, that's wrong. Mukuro died because of the blow to the back of the head she suffered.
So what was used to do that? It was described as thick as a metal pipe. But what kind of object was used to do that?
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with
They
it?
were several days old. She would have recovered by then.
The Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds.
Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really matter.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head is what killed her.
But then, what was the murder weapon?
The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object, about as thick as a metal pipe.
Oh, I bet it was the pickaxe!
No, the pickaxe is sharp, you dumbass.
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd cave their skull in completely.
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
There's an imbalance of weight there.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of power.
Right? Toko, you know the dimensions of the pickaxe quite well, eh?
I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
No thanks. I bet you just hit me with the metal end and call it an accident.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brain of yours, throw it on the ground and spit on it.
I feel the same way. Looks like we're on the same page this time.
How magnanimous.
Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know.
Do we? Do we, Byakuya? This doesn't tell me anything. Well,
We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've deduced the real murder weapon?
Ah, yes, because I'm so intelligent. Why, okay. Okay, Couldn't have been the pickaxe, I don't think. I have no clue. The real murder weapon? Okay, there's the bomb, there's the knife, which have already been ruled out. The key, the arrows?
I got it!
Really? What?
Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something. And that's what killed her.
But arrows are sharp. This was a blunt. I guess if these were training arrows.
And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo.
Arrow? That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with?
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
Are you sure? That sounds kinda weird.
Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master? You have no right!
This case is kind of weird.
I'm not back-talking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
I don't blame Hina for doubting it, because there's one more thing about that weapon. One more secret. How do you fire an arrow without a bow?
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Talking back to Master! You have no right!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker. I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been. It seems like an arrow would.
What?
No, that's wrong.
That makes no sense. That's not a contradiction there. That's a
You're right.
fact.
Just the one arrow would have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon.
I don't understand this argument system. Then again, maybe I'm dumb and maybe it's not the game's fault.
Another weapon?
Yeah, the bloody duct
Inside
tape.
the dojo locker, we also found a balled-up wad of duct tape. The killer probably used this duct tape to bind multiple arrows together.
What? Then how did the blood get on it?
Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe.
Oh my god.
And that's exactly what the killer did.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks.
What?
One stick is weak, but put them together, and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Damn, that's harsh.
How is it harsh? Are you even listening?
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker, it was you, Kyoko.
Just, okay, alright. You're being a bit aggressive here.
I've never been to the dojo.
Yes, you have.
Oh no, you absolutely have.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto? What's the matter? Surely you don't intend to protect a murderer.
I can show you the proof right now, I think.
You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to the death of us all. Remember?
Of course I remember.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
It must be connected to that dojo locker. We found this key in her room. But up to this point, I can totally say that just because the key was in her room doesn't mean that she went there.
I got it! The one thing that proves Kyoko was in the dojo is right here. The key to the dojo locker.
And how does that prove anything?
I'd like to know this too.
Because I found it in your room.
It was in my room?
Are you surprised by this? Okay, the fact that you're surprised about this doesn't mean anything right now, actually.
Don't bother trying to play dumb. That key is just the final piece of the puzzle.
Not yet, actually.
Your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime. This all proves that you are the true culprit. You can't explain this away, so just give up.
Hold on a second.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you?
No, it's not that I want to defend her. It's just there's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something.
Why did you lie to me?
Last night, you were in my room, weren't you?
So that wasn't a hallucination?
Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know.
I was just protecting you.
That hesitation is what's gonna kill you, Kyoko.
What?
She was protecting me? Then does that mean she knew I was being attacked? And she came to my rescue? Could that be when... Which would mean that Kyoko... She killed someone? For me?
That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over. A verdict is close at hand.
Wait. I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
Protecting is very vague at this point. Because... Killing the masked figure doesn't necessarily mean protecting. She could have cleaned up evidence. She could have framed the evidence in a way that would point to someone else other than Makoto. It's like, you have to really play with words here.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous.
Really? But you should know better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know.
What does this mean? What? Byakuya should know better than anyone? What does that mean? Oh, wait. It has something to do with Fenrir. What?
Those
What?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Oh, Byakuya has the key to Kyoko's room. That she... Oh my god. Someone just blow my head off. I'm not capable of thinking like a normal human being.
Those words you just...
Exactly.
I'm not the killer. You should understand that more.
Byakuya,
Master would never hide something...
there's proof that you aren't the culprit.
There we go.
No, that's wrong. If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room.
Huh? Why not?
Because she had given her room key to Byakuya.
I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room...
Then obviously I had no way of getting in. Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself. Am I wrong?
It would appear not.
Then you're finally starting to understand.
This is incredibly multi-layered, and I think I will halt it for now. Thank you very much for watching. Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc is available on Steam and the Vita for $30. The sequel Goodbye Despair is also available on Steam and the Vita for $30. Please pick them up if you can, because they are very, very, very... I can't think of a proper word for them, but they are they're something. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Toodaloo.